Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 850 for the 22nd of June. All the situation report for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine. And Commander, we have detected a submarine at the position of the like button. Launch something, some torpedoes or depth charges or something, or you can just post some tweets. I think that is very effective so far in this Ukraine war. I think the Twitter brigades are the one that is making the difference. It's a game changer in this war. So do press the like button, and of course for those that want to join the DPA army, do subscribe to the channel and to continue to support this work, especially if you go in 5-10 minutes and you're actually liking the reports. Press it. So we're going to start off with the frontline changes report, and unfortunately for the Ukrainians, today's everything is red. All the frontline changes are red. We have frontline changes over the Voschansk, Vishana, Kanel, Pivnishne, Konstantinivka, Vodian, and Robotine. So we're going to go into the Kharkiv front first with the frontline change over at Voschansk. So this frontline change is over here where the Ukrainians previously was supposedly running an attack on the eastern part or eastern outskirt of Voschansk. However, we have a geolocation of Russian forces over at this position, confirming that the Russians have taken a bit back over at this battle over here. However, for those that are supporting Russia, don't be too happy. This is a compilation of tragic deaths of Russian soldiers getting destroyed by FPV drones and grenade drones. So yes, so generally geolocations are all bad. All geolocations are usually just someone getting destroyed or killed. So yeah, don't when you see no geolocations, don't be too happy about it. So the next frontline change is over at Vishana. So at Vishana, there is some frontline changes. This is based on the mapping and reporting by Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. They claim that the Russians have made some progress south of Vishana in the direction of Petropavlivka. And these frontline changes in this area here, you can see that it's basically around these two tree lines. These two tree lines. Two tree lines. Okay, they are attacking down this region here, causing some improvement of the Russian front line around here. So they are pushing towards Petropavlivka, but it's still a bit of a distance from the settlement itself. I think the nearest settlement point is around here. They're still talking about around 2.5 kilometers, so it's still some distance away. So the Ukrainians have strong positions around here. They are holding these lines very well for some time. So yeah, we shall see. The next frontline change is all the way at the Bakhmut front. Over the Bakhmut front at Kanel, there is a geolocation of Russian forces getting shelled in the northern part of the Kanel micro district, which confirms that the Russians have actually taken these positions. Previously, it was just claimed by the Russian side. Now we have geolocation invalidating Ukrainian claims that this is still not firmly controlled by the Russians. So this is a continuation of the battle at Kanel. The next frontline change is over at Pivnishne. This is a very big one. Over at the Toretsk offensive, where the Russians launched this surprise attack in the New York front, Russian forces, according to the Ukrainian mapping, have taken all of the outskirts just outside of Pivnishne. So the Russians have previously conquered Shumy, and this has been corroborated by the Russian sources as well by Ryba. So the Russians are now pushing towards the settlement of Pivnishne, and basically almost all of the outskirts is now taken. If you zoom in a bit more, you can see that the Russians have taken the entire tree line here, and they have pushed out towards the forest just outside of the neighborhood. So it is a huge progression. And of course, if you zoom out a bit, we already know that the Russians have already entered Pivnishne from the highway region. They're going to push in, and now the Russians are attacking from another direction. They're going to push in from yet another direction. So this is looking really serious, and the Russians seems to be, at this moment, looking pretty determined to prove me wrong and make me look like a clown. And yeah, I'm quite sure the pro-Russians are very happy to see me as a clown, because the Russians is winning. So yeah, so we move on away from Pivnishny. The next frontline change is over at Konstantinivka. And Konstantinivka is over at the Donetsk front, and you can see there's a huge number of changes around here. So in the south of Konstantinivka, Russian forces have made progress around here in the direction of Vodian as well as towards Konstantinivka. A huge amount of change around here. So let's zoom in a bit so that you can see the strategic situation already. We zoom in a bit more. You can see that the Russians have taken, let me draw the tree lines. So these are the tree lines around here. The Russians have actually captured all these tree lines around here, making further progress. And this is a pretty difficult place to fight in because all the tree lines just have crisscrossing, fire support from one another. So and of course the open ground is always dangerous. So we are now looking at a new updated front line around 2.5 kilometers from the highway, from the furthest point from where we have mapped. Along the other tree lines around 3.5 kilometers. So the safe zone from the highway is getting smaller and smaller. Once you hit 1 kilometer, there's almost fire control. If you have a tank and infantry fighting vehicle, 1 kilometer is really within a big caliber weapons range. Once you reach around 400 meters, below 400 meters, that's when the rifle and machine gun becoming more and more effective. Once you reach around 200 meters, assault rifle will be lethal. So, and 200 meters is of course super near. You're talking about like this kind of distance, very small. So, yeah, so that is already the front line effectively. Once you are in the assault rifle range, you are at the front line. So, from Konstantinivka, we're talking about distance around one or less than 2 kilometers. So we already have previous attacks around this area here. So Battle of Konstantinivka is looking pretty soon, maybe around 2 weeks time if the Russians continue to push. So that's all from the Konstantinivka Vodian direction. The last front line change is over at Robotine at the Zaporizhia front, which is also pretty significant. Russian forces has been geolocated just off the heavy entrenchment around here. There is a heavy trench line along the highway or the road. Russian forces geolocated from at this location, confirming that the Russians have continued to progress from Robotine, moving to recapture all their lost grounds. And taking this entrenchment and along the entire road will secure the road from Robotine heading to Verbove. And this will so this road here, Verbove is over here. So this road, once they secure, then they basically re-established most of the defenses pre-Ukrainian 2023 counteroffensive. However, this geolocation is pretty sad. So there's 3 soldiers in this video. I really don't want to show because if I show, so I did see comments asking that they say that it's very boring. Seeing all this map, no video, so boring. So if it's boring, you can actually always follow all the Telegram channels and just watch all the gore. You can also, of course, go to DPA's forum. DPA forum, you can see that in the description below, there is a gore channel. All the horrible videos from all around the world, video footages, images of the most horrible shit. Is there. So you can just go there. YouTube don't allow this kind of thing. This is basically gore porn, or war porn. YouTube don't like it, so I don't show it. Other channels want to show it, they want to take the risk, it's up to them. I'm too small and too poor to do it, so you have to pardon me about it. But this video is very bad because there's 3 soldiers. They are running across, they are followed by a drone. Somehow there was an FPV drone attack. The soldier in the middle basically got crippled, and somehow this injured soldier asked the guy behind him to shoot him in the head, and the soldier behind didn't even flinch. He just walked over and casually shoot him in the head and just continue off. And I'm like mind blown. So there are arguments in the comments in the DPA Telegram channel. You can see in the comments for the video that I forwarded. They're arguing that those are probably POWs or whatnot. I have no idea this because they said that the first 2 guys is not armed. And So you can make your own conclusions, or whatever you want. Some claim that those are Ukrainian POWs. The last soldier is a Russian soldier, and then it's a Ukrainian drones that is hitting their own soldiers who surrendered. That's the argument that nowadays we are seeing. But I have no idea. I have no idea. The uniform colors look so similar. I can't really tell. So and that's about it for the frontline changes report. This so very important changes. So we're going to carry on with the strategy and tactical reporting, and for those that are only interested in the frontline changes, this is all. Thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe for those for the rest, and of course if you have followed all the way to this point and you haven't subscribed, do subscribe, because I'm quite sure you actually find this information useful. So subscribing helps the channel to grow, and also help to tell YouTube to push the video to wider people, and also improve the baseline of how much they want to push every time the video is posted, because channel size actually matters. So the bigger the channel, the more YouTube will push the video, even if it's shit. So it is what it is. So we just have to play along. And also and what else? Never mind, we just go to the strategy and tactical reporting. I can't remember what I want to say. So we go into the Kharkiv front. So at the Kharkiv front, the Ukrainian counteroffensive is struggling. Basically, the Ukrainians are currently still on the counterattack over at Klipoke. Russians have retaken the initiative over at Voschansk. So this is the large situation, and the number of geolocations and actions and reports coming from this front has died down significantly as compared to a month ago. This is now just another front right now. It's no longer a Russian offensive. There's no Kharkiv offensive anymore. The Ukrainian counteroffensive in this region is also pretty limited right now. The main punch is over. They cannot punch through. They cannot push it back. So this is just yet another front line, just like any other front line in Ukraine right now. So this, I just want to note this. So in the Lipsy sector, Ukrainian forces continue to push at Klipoke. According to Ryba, they said that the Ukrainians have the numerical superiority, but they are unable to push it into their favor. Of course, this is a Russian claim, but it does seem to be the case, because based on the geolocations and the frontline changes, the frontline have not really changed much. And there is a geolocation also of a Lancet hitting a PTR4. So the Ukrainians are indeed trying to push Klipoke. They are attacking actively. They are trying to reconquer back Klipoke, but the Russians actually is defending. They are not playing a maneuver warfare. Oh, you come, I leave, and then I trap you. No, they're not doing that. They basically just fighting on the ground. So they're staying. So it looks like the Russians have a plan, and this is their plan to hold a position. So we move away from this area to the Voschansk sector. At the Battle of Voschansk, Russian forces have retaken initiative. There is no report of Ukrainian counteroffensive. The fighting is reported by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Russian forces geolocated, as mentioned in the frontline changes report, that shows that the Ukrainian attack in the eastern outskirts has ended. And there's another geolocation of TOS-1A hitting Ukrainian troops. This is the thermobaric rockets on Voschansk, Ukrainian positions at Voschansk. This is not the first one. Actually, they have been used around 2 days ago or 3 days ago as well. So this is bad, because TOS-1A nowadays, the new version is actually even longer range than before. So I forgot which is. Oh no, I forgot. Oh no. Okay, wait, give me a second. Okay. I pressed something, then end up my annotation cannot clear. So then make me confused about my shortcuts. So the situation at Voschansk currently is that it seems like the TOS-1A, the thermobaric missiles, are more effective than the airstrikes, because previously the Russians are using a lot of airstrikes, but it seems like the thermobarics are way more scarier and more effective. It looks like the Ukrainians that have been previously gathering forces around here. Clearly, of course, the Russians are airstriking them previously, but it seems like it's the thermobaric missiles that has arrived at this front line that is probably eliminating entire groups or entire concentration of forces, causing the entire counteroffensive to end. That seems to be my sense. I'm not saying this is reality. I'm just saying that this is my sense of what is happening on the ground, and this is horrible because with thermobaric missiles and the new versions have longer range, which means that counter artillery actions may not actually work to stop the TOS-1A, and the TOS-1 are now literally wiping out Ukrainian concentrations, which means that the Russians may be counterattacking very, very soon. Though there is no reports exactly where the Russians are counterattacking according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, but I got a feeling that we might start to see the fall of the Ukrainian lines around DIVERSIONS. So, but we will see. We will see how crazy the Ukrainians are. Continue to hold a line which can be thermobaric or strike. So anyway, that's all from the Battle of DIVERSIONS. Another geolocation of airstrike just off Chykivka, so which is pretty far on the eastern part. I don't think it very matters a lot, but that's it from the Kharkiv front. Over the Kupiansk front, at the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are continuing their offensive in this region here. Fighting continue to be reported at Sinkivka, south of Vyshana towards Petropavlivka, at this is Stepova, Novoselivka, yeah, and then at Pischany. So these are the various directions that the Russians are pushing. Particularly, there is some success over in the Vyshana Petropavlivka region, as in the frontline changes report. Russian forces attacking in 2 different directions, and they are making some progress. So they are heading towards Petropavlivka. So we shall see how this develops. And for those that I saw some people asking me what's the meaning of the green color. So I'll explain. Red is of course Russia. Blue is Ukrainians. Yellow sometimes is Ukrainian because sometimes we can't see the arrow. But generally this is what I predict the future actions are. And green, sometimes I use it to represent the forest, the terrain. Sometimes just listen to what I say when I use the green, and sometimes I also use the blue to represent water, rivers and whatnot. So yeah, so that's the meaning of all the different colors, and we move on over at the Svatove front. At the Svatove front, we have, I think I have to zoom in like that. So Russians attacking at Stemakivka and Nadia. This is what? Masyozarivka. So Masyozarivka, Nadia, and then this is, oh my god, I can't remember all these places. This is Nadia. Okay, I have to zoom in, I can't tell. So okay, again, Svatove front, Russians are now attacking Stemakivka, Masyozarivka, and Andriivka, as well as Nadia. So this might be starting to seem to corroborate the Ukrainian rumor that the Russians are preparing some big battles around here. Some accumulation of, I think, 20,000 or 10,000 troops around here. I can't remember the numbers. Not important, since the Ukrainians say that all this the Russian attacks will be human waves and they all die. So why does it matter? It doesn't matter. So further south, there is fighting reported at towards Kharkivka. There is a geolocation just off Druzhdelebivka of some artillery shelling. So that's all from the Svatove front. You can see that the Russians are pushing in these directions, and another push towards Kharkivka. Yeah, so maybe the Russians are trying to to push the line here. Maybe they want to push the front line further up, just around where the heavy entrenchment are. Maybe. So anyway, further moving into the Crimea front. At the Crimea front, Russian forces are attacking at Nevsky, towards Novosadove, Terny, Torsky, as well as Dibrova. There is no fighting within the Serbiansky forestry, so these are the various directions that the Russians are pushing. So we shall see how this goes. Usually, the attacks in the obscure sectors are very boring, because they always say they are attacking, but no frontline changes. At the Sivers front, Russian forces attacking at Verkhomokhanyamsky, Sperne, Vimka, and Rozdolivka. So there is no news regarding the frontline changes, as I mentioned multiple times. The fighting in this area here tends to have very strict operational discipline and secrecy. Usually when the information comes, it always comes in a huge chunk of frontline changes. So it's always a shock. So we will continue to monitor. Moving on, over at the Bakhmut front. At the central part of the Bakhmut front, Russian forces are attacking at Krykhovka, Kalinina, Kanel, towards Chasiv as well as Ivaniske region. So the Russians are making a huge full front attack. And particularly over at Kanel region, the Russian forces have geolocated, showing confirmation that the Russians have indeed made some progress within Kanel itself. However, of course, the Russian claims is much bigger, so we shall see how this develop over here. Further in the southern flank, of the Bakhmut front, Russian forces are attacking in the Klishevka and the Andreevka region, and that's about it. Over at the New York front, I can't believe New York front is a interesting front. Russian forces are attacking at Druzhba, Pivnishny, Pevdeny. There are some claims about Russians even reaching at Zalizny already. They're shouting at Toretsk. Russians are attacking towards New York, and there's fighting reported at Novo Alexandropil. So particularly the main bulk of the offensive is in this northern half of the New York front, and particularly there is major frontline changes already. So if we zoom in further in this region here, Russian forces have conquered Shumi. They are attacking through Pivdeny, and based on some rumors on the Russian side, Russian forces may have already even arrived at Zalizny. The fighting may already arrive at Zalizny. The Russian forces, according to Ukrainian mapping, have taken even more ground. So this is by Deep State UA, and basically, as the Russians have already entered into Pivnishny in the northern part over here, the Russians are now able to attack through the south as well, creating a two-pronged attack on Pivnishny. Of course, Russians may also attack into Druzhba. So this is going to be a pretty scary place, because if the Russians have indeed entered Zalizny as well, the Ukrainians will be very, very stretched in this region. They're going to have to pull in a lot of forces into the New York front, particularly along this entire sector, because they have to defend at Druzhba, Pivnishny, just off Shumi, Zalizny, and of course the Russians could potentially go through Shumi and start another attack from another area, which means the Ukrainians will have to react in multiple locations. It's going to be a disaster for the Ukrainians as this progress. We are talking about an active front line of probably 6-7 kilometers. So an entire line of entire front lines of 7 kilometers, a very, very huge front, very, very huge front. So very, very interesting whether the Russians are indeed really going to push through. If they're going to do one big arrow push, then of course my analysis that the Russians should go around the New York front is now then invalidated. So maybe they have discovered that the Ukrainians have undermanned the New York front, and which is why they are they are actually pushing into this area so heavily. So we will continue to monitor. Over at the northern flank of the Avdiivka front, Russian forces attack in the area of Novokalinove, Karamik, Arkhangelsk, in between Novo Alexandrivka and Arkhangelsk, Novo Alexandrivka towards Vodivzenka, towards Yekhanivka and Sokil. Oh my god, they're ugly. That arrow is so ugly. So this is the current situation over at the northern part of the Avdiivka front. Over in this southern part, in the central part of the Avdiivka front. Let me show. Okay, Russian forces are attacking in the area of Novoporovsky and towards Novoselivka, Persha, and Yasnobrodivka. So this is the central part. The push from Umansky towards Novoselivka, Persha did not happen, or at least no updates about it. So no, I'm probably wrong at this moment, unless they are going to push that. Geolocation of FPV drone hitting a Bradley just off Novoselivka, Persha. So that suggests that the Ukrainians are defending actively around here. In the southern flank, in the southern flank, Russian forces, of course, at Yasno-Brodivka already mentioned, they are attacking in the two flanks at the Khalivka reservoir on the north and the south, and towards Khalivka, and there is fighting reported in the area of Nevelsky. So the entire Avdiivka front still seems to be the main offensive. This seems to be still the main push. Despite there is a lot of actions in the New York front that is very exciting, this seems to be the main push. The majority of the fighting, the heaviest fighting, is still in this area here. So I still hold the belief that the Russians are using the New York front attack, the Torex offensive, as a diversion, while they are making this offensive action with the main push up in this direction. So I think this is still what is currently happening over at the what is in the Russian minds. But of course, like I always say, all these offensive all these diversions cannot be ignored. Because if you ignore a diversion, the diversion will become a main offensive. Because you allow them to break through, and then the Russians will just change their plans and develop a more scary plan. So yeah, that is the problem with with war. You just can't ignore stuff. So over at the Donetsk front, Russian forces are fighting in the Battle of Krasnohorivka. They're fighting at Georgievka, Paraskoviyevka, towards Konstantinivka, south of Konstantinivka, towards Vodian, at Volodymyrivka, Palivka, towards Pashetivka, towards Makarivka, shelling at Nekushny. So you can see the Donetsk front has become very active, very scary. The main push right now, of course, is in this area here in the south of Konstantinivka, Battle of Krasnohorivka, and Georgievka. These are the main ones. The fighting at Staromayorsky and Uruzhainy has quietened a lot. So, but this is still a front to take note of. The rest of this along the Voleda line. This is the Voleda line. I believe this is still going to hold. I don't think these are the real offensive places. And in fact, I think even the Georgievka one is going to be holding. It's not going to be very active. The main push currently is still Krasnohorivka. The Battle of Krasnohorivka is the main one. And of course, in the area of the south of Konstantinivka, which is the main push, as they want to take over the highway. And Krasnohorivka, we do not have any more updates regarding the front line. Nothing at Georgievka. Over at Paraskoviyevka, the front line still remains here. Russia still have not have a firm conquest of Paraskoviyevka. South of Konstantinivka, as I mentioned, Russian forces in the frontline changes report have taken a lot of grounds around Konstantinivka, south of Konstantinivka, and they are heading towards this highway, moving towards Voleda. So Russian forces are going to push in this direction. Once they cut the highway, it's going to be a disaster for the Ukrainians. Oh, I know. I just realized why my arrows are so long. Because my sensitivity of the mouse is like too high. So now my arrows can be shorter. So yeah, because my mouse are moving too fast. No, I reduce my mouse sensitivity. Yeah, it will be shorter. If further, even smaller, it will be even shorter. Yeah. Or here, like yeah. So it's a mouse sensitivity problem. So yep. So yeah. So that's all. Very yeah. I got distracted. So so there's fighting at Uruzhainy as well, with the Russians attacking towards Makarivka. So I missed out this one. The Russians are pushing at Uruzhainy. So yeah, but that's it around here. Over at the Zaporizhia front, there is shelling reported at Novo-Ivanivka as well as Vavarivka. So these two shelling around here. Russian forces are pretty active in the Orikhiv sector of the Zaporizhia front. So if we zoom in, we will see that the Russians are attacking at Nasteryanka, Luhivsky, Bilokhaya towards Malatomashka. Ukrainian forces seem to have counter-attacked at Malatomashka, according to the information from two majors, where the Ukrainians have attempted some offensive action that was foiled, and Russians are attacking in the area of Robotine. Particularly, as mentioned in the frontline changes report, Russian forces seems to be trying to retake the entrenchment. So there's this heavy entrenchment which is part of the Surovikin line. This is the first line of defense, and the Russian forces seems to be attacking in this direction towards the line. And there is still no indication that the Russians are pushing in this in the other side. This is not happening right now. So it's now mainly pushing from Robotine region, and there seems to be not a lot of Ukrainian troops around. The Ukrainians are depending on the drones to try to hold back the Russians. Of course, in modern warfare, we seldom see big force attack. So yeah, we shall see how this develop. There's a lot of information missing to make a good a certainty of what is actually happening over the front. So that's all from the Zaporizhia front. And my nose is leaking, just like the Ukrainian defense. Over at the Kherson front, so at the Kherson front, there is only one shelling report over at Tokarivka, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. And that's about it over at the Kherson front. And that's it. So this is the entire situation report over the past 24 hours. All this information only for 24 hours. So the war is big, it's huge. People are saying that, no, please keep it within 15 minutes. It's not possible. There's just way too much things happening. Too much front line, too much action all over the place. I can do no less than 8 minutes for one front line. But you have so many front line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, yeah, each of them you give them 5 minutes, it's already, still 25 minutes. So that is what it is. Bear with it. If you are bored, it's too long. Yeah, I mean, watching just the frontline changes report, I think still helps to just get a general sensing of what's currently happening, who is winning. And clearly at this moment, based on purely frontline changes report, the Russians are currently winning. So yeah, so this is what it is. So thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and yeah, DPA open mic later. I'll see you guys in the next update.